All right, we're on hole number 2 of the Easter Open tournament and Monday's practice round. Let's go to Golf Clash Notebook and check it out. All right. This hole right here this is going to be one of those holes that's going to cause tons of people problems because there's really no easy answers here. The layup shot over here is tough. And getting it to stay in and not end up in this sand or not end up in the rough up here. And the problem is that even if you end up in the perfect spot, the second shot, you really have no shot at Albie. You're just trying to get onto the green. So if you're taking this shot, it's definitely going to be a big dog. It's got lots of curl so that you can get around these trees. It's got lots of topspin. Here you're probably going to want to bring a bigger ball, not necessarily for the first shot, but for the second shot to get you in. So the second shot here is going to be what's critical for the big ball. If you go over to this side where you're bouncing here and you're coming over, you have a very narrow stretch right here and a very narrow neck right here. It's hard to get, it's very easy on this shot to end up in trouble. And so neither one of these, like if you're looking for the safe, consistent shot, just come here, get an eagle, and go on. Both of these shots can present different stuff. Here on this first shot, you're going to need a bigger ball in order to get over here to do the shot. And here you're going to need a bigger ball for the second shot. If you can get out here in the clear, obviously this is the best way to go. And if you're out here, so if you're out in this area right here when you're coming in, you're going to want to bring your backspin clubs. You're going to want to bring the best clubs in your bag for backspin as far as wood, long iron. It's very unlikely that you can get into short iron range here. I don't think even if you're up in the front you can get in short iron range. Where you normally would end up out here is going to be right at that transition between your long iron and your wood. So there's just not, there's no way to play it safe on here just to get your eagle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this shot out here. I'm going to demo this shot today. And then my next account, I'm going to demo this shot. I'm going to take a look at them and see which one is the easier to do so that we can just get eagle and go home. Because the deal is from over here, you do have an Albie shot. But this is still a tough albatross. And from over here, you could make Albie from over here, but it would be absolute pure luck. Because you're going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff in order to get it back around to the green. And I think from the people I've talked to in my clan, when you're playing one-on-one, this is typically the shot that people are taking a one-on-one because nobody's going to waste a big ball coming over here just in a one-on-one play. But I'm going to try this shot out here, and I'm going to use an Extra Mile, a Titan, and I'm going to bring a Guardian and a Saturn. And I'm also going to put my claw in my bag, even though I don't think that we can get in a short iron range. I just want to make sure. But if we're in the rough out there, we're going to want the biggest rough and the biggest sand wedge that we have in the bag. So whatever you have that can hit the farthest. Now, as far as rough irons go, I know the Amazon has pretty much no ball guide, but it has tons of backspin. So you don't really need a lot of ball guide with it because you can. Thank you, baby. You can. On a lot of these holes, if you're using an Amazon, you can backspin it, and pretty much wherever you see that it's going to land, it's going to be pretty close because it has so much backspin, even at low level. And it has tons of topspin, so if you're distance-wise, if you're really short, I mean, not only does it have the most distance, but it also has the most topspin of these clubs, so you can get out there farther. So if you don't have a Nirvana or if you have an Amazon, this might be a hole to bring your Amazon, even though it's not what you would want to carry day to day. As far as sand wedges, if you have a Spitfire, that's definitely the one that you're going to want to bring. It hits the farthest. And it's good close up. So I'm going to bring these clubs here, and even though, like I said, I'm not going to be in my short iron range, I am going to bring my claw just to make sure if I do get in it, I've got something with lots of backspin. When your claw gets higher developed, I actually like the claw better than the thorn, because it has better accuracy, and anytime you're in short iron, accuracy is a big deal. That's why I normally use a Hornet day to day, because it's the most accurate of the short irons. And it still has good ball guide here with the claw, and it's a great utility club. It has great curl, great backspin, good topspin, good accuracy, great distance. I mean, it's actually a pretty good club. All of the common clubs are pretty good. All right, let's go. Let's go try for the going to the left shot. I don't normally the thing on this is a troubling hole, because in order to get this shot to the left, you've got to do a lot of overpower, and you're hitting into a narrow area. And I'm not usually a big fan of doing that. So a lot of times, if you watch my videos, I'll pop out bigger balls to help my clubs so that I don't have to use as much overpower. And you could go for the shot that's up here, but that is fraught with danger as well. So with what our opponent's doing, where they're doing a max overpower shot to try and land on that island, if you're going to do a max overpower shot, you'd be much better served to go to the left. If you're coming to the island, this is really a bounce over from here to get into this area right here and just kind of lay up right in that area. It'll be a little short. That's why you want to bring a big ball. But you can get on here with a big dog. I've gotten on from that point. I mean, you can use a sniper, you can use a guardian. But for most people, since the big dog is a level 3 club, you're gonna get your big dog up and level pretty quick. And that's bad. That's what we call no bueno. So I'm going to use a Titan. And we're coming over to this area over here. Now the wind's going with us. And so we could actually do this shot with very little overpower. And let the wind carry us over. And let's see how far we get if we're just doing it with just up against the nubs, not really any overpower whatsoever, but not enough to make the needle go any faster, but just to let it jump so that you know that you are in power. And just do a layup shot out here and see what kind of distance that we have with our clubs from that spot. Because if we can get out into that spot consistently right there and not have to do any overpower, that's really the key. It's been a long time since I played this hole. I think this hole is this is when the last tournament that this hole was in, this was a brand new hole. That was the first time we'd ever played it. And I think what we were really trying to do at that point was to get way up here to get into our long iron range. But I think that this is a low enough percentage albatross hole that just securing your eagle, because a lot of people are going to end up just like our opponent, where they're going to end up in a spot of bother. And if we can just go out there and just play where we're not having to do a lot of stuff. So we'll see what kind of distance I have right here with my guardian. So we have plenty of distance here. So pretty much any wood in your bag is going to be able to get you to this point. So, but from the angles that you have here, it's a little difficult to get your ball. You don't have a lot of room from here to run it up there. Okay, we'll do 3.6, so we're about max club, pretty close. So it's 1.2 per ring, so there's 3.6. I'm not going to do any special adjustments. I'm going to try and hit perfect so that we can see where the ball, hit it great to the left, where our ball's landing, and that was about great to the left. And that's pin high, so we're in the. If I would have hit that shot perfect, that would have been pretty close. But it's really key in these practice rounds that, for myself, for my game, I really have to hit these perfect, because I don't learn anything if I don't hit a perfect shot, so that I can go back and say, hey, on these holes, on this hole, I hit it perfect, and I was to the left, or I hit it perfect and I was to the right, so that I can go back and watch the video and see which way the wind was blowing, and I can go, okay, hey, I either need to add on 10%, or You know, when you're at max club, I'm going to add on something. Or maybe I'm at mid club, and instead of doing a mid club adjustment, I need to do a max club adjustment, so that we can start fine tuning this as the week goes on. And so in these practice rounds on Monday and Tuesday, it's super important that we focus on getting perfect. And like every one of these tournaments, my goal on Monday is to try and establish exactly what clubs I'm going to hit and which direction I'm going to go. And this is one of those holes that is troubling, because this is a hole that you can get in a lot of trouble in, especially if you're trying to get a lot out of it. You know, like our opponent was trying to hit over to this island over here where they were overpowering it and trying to get out here. If you're going to overpower this shot, I mean, look at what you have over here versus this little teeny, and you're trying to control an extra mile when it gets out into this area. That is going to be a very tough shot. Even if our opponent would have hit it perfect and made it over, that's a tough shot. So I do like this shot over here, and I do like the fact that with the Titan right there, I didn't have to put on a whole lot of power. Now, if you've got lesser developed clubs, you may have to put on just a little bit more, or you may have to pop up a 4-power ball just to help yourself out. That's why they have those balls out there. Don't, you know, those 4-power balls aren't just for the ones where you're trying to hit, you know, pound it out and do the thing. It's a shot like this. If you don't have to overpower it, and you can end up in an area where you've got that much distance on your wood, so that you can get an easy eagle and go to the next hole, give yourself a shot at Albie. This is definitely a hole that would be worth spending a 4-power ball. So if your clubs are less developed, you know, that's why I always tell people, don't waste those balls when you're in one-on-one play. You know, hoard those balls, because you get to a hole like this in a tournament. This hole is going to cause a lot of people problems. You know, I'm talking about trying to get an albatross shot, and there's going to be a ton of people that come to this hole to get birdies. There's probably, you know, so giving yourself a nice consistent shot so that you can get eagle pretty easy and move along, you're going to be ahead of a lot of people in the group, because they came to this hole and they ended up getting a birdie because they were trying to go for something. All right, that was hole number 2 of the Easter Open tournament and Monday's practice round. Thanks for watching.